يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلوا إلى شياطينهم قالوا إنا معكم إنما نحن مستهزئون الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلوات وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. Eid Mubarak to everyone on the beautiful auspicious occasions that we are celebrating tonight, the birthday anniversary of Imam Hussein, which was today, Friday, the birthday anniversary of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, which is tomorrow, and the birthday anniversary of our fourth Imam, Imam Ali as-Sajjad Zain al-Abidin alayhimus salam. Sha'ban is a beautiful month because it is the only month in which we don't have a sad occasion. We don't have a commemoration of any of the shahada or passing away of our ma'soomeen or the family members of our ma'soomeen. Sha'ban is the only month that is like this. Any other month you have one or two or even more than two sad occasions passing away, shahada of any of Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam, except for the month of Sha'ban. And that's why Sha'ban is a happy month. In this holy month also, as you all know, the most important event, the birth of our living Imam, Sahib al-Asri wal-Zaman, al-Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajuhu al-Sharif, in which inshallah we're going to have a special occasion like we did last year on the night of the 15th, inshallah. Something that we know about these three personalities is all three of them were in Karbala. All three of them were, of course, had a primary role in Karbala. We could say that Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was the right-hand man of Imam Hussein. In today's terms, we can say that Ali al-Akbar was the commander-in-chief of Imam Hussein's army, and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas was second in charge as far as the event of Karbala. Of course, in the aftermath of Karbala, we know that it was Sayyidah Zainab who took control of the situation, along with our fourth Imam, Imam Ali As-Sajjad alayhi salam. Imam As-Sajjad was, of course, old at the time. He wasn't very young at the time, and therefore he was one of the primary individuals who conveyed and narrated the whole tragic saga of Karbala as well. Now these three heroes, these three brave heroes of Karbala, coincidentally, no, there's no coincidence. It's not a coincidence that all three of them are born one day after the other in this holy month of Sha'ban. If you remember when we spoke about the merit and virtue of the month of Rajab, we also mentioned that Sha'ban is also a month that you prepare yourself for the month of Ramadan. Because Sha'ban is month number what? Month number what? Huh? Thank you very much. Did your daddy tell you or you knew? MashaAllah alaik. Shame on everyone else. How old are you? How old are you? 7, MashaAllah. Okay. Sha'ban is month number 8, which means Ramadan will be month number 9. Thank you. And of course, all of us are preparing for the month of Ramadan. And we are all anticipating for the month of Ramadan. Yes, we know that Ramadan this year is going to be a little bit difficult because it won't be that cold and the hours will be a little bit longer. But you have to prepare yourself. You have to get ready because in a few years, you are going to be fasting now in February, and then in January, in the middle of the summer, you're going to have Ramadan. And that's going to be a very big test for all of us if we are going to have that level of enthusiasm and wanting to fast while the weather is so hot and difficult. Who remembers how many years does it rotate? Remember when we spoke about that? How many years does it rotate? Yes, Salam Farmande. Thank you so much. 33 years it takes. So we're going to have Ramadan in March, and then in another 33 years, we're going to have Ramadan in March again. Right? Now, Sha'ban is also a time where we need to reflect, which is exactly why I thought of choosing about this particular topic. Today, the major influence, the most common influence, the most effective influence that is making such an impact on our lives is social media. Social media is influencing us now more than ever. Social media is influencing us more than our own parents. We are absorbing from social media more than what we would be absorbing from anything else. And I'm going to be showing you some statistics on that. And that's why something that unfortunately so many people want to become, instead of pursuing a wonderful life of spiritual development or knowledge or academic studies, they want to be social influencers. They want to become a social influencer. They want to be a vlogger where they've got someone filming them with whatever they do. And the misery that all of that brings about. And unfortunately, we are subconsciously falling into that. Even when it comes to our impulse purchasing, we buy things because of so-and-so person, so-and-so influential person, influencer, is wearing it or using it or encouraging people to purchase it, not knowing clearly, right, that in most cases, if not all cases, they're being paid to do that. And unfortunately, you're falling into this trap of accommodating and increasing in the revenue and the money that this person is getting. Out of what? For the sake of you somehow feeling a little bit better about yourself, which is very, very sad as well. And so therefore, it's really, really important for us to remember what kind of example we need to take in our lives and what kind of role model we need to have in our lives. Who is the mentor that we need to have? Who is our role model that we need to look up to and pick up on as far as our behavior and things like that are concerned? Kahi, slap them, please. Thank you. First of all, that was a nice slap, by the way. First of all, what is a role model? That was Jojo, by the way. What is a role model? As we can see, obviously, a role model is someone who you look up to, someone who's influential, someone who you want to follow, you want to copy. Can you see the board, Zain Al Abidin? I'd sit somewhere else, please. What does emulate mean? Anyone knows? Mehdi, what does emulate mean? Did you tell him that, Ali? Emulate means copy. Did you know that, Naji? Good. Emulate means copy. Whoever that may be, in a good way, maybe in a bad way, maybe your role model is Ned Kelly, maybe your role model is, someone who you really look up to and you really want to be. Sometimes it takes you in the good direction, sometimes, unfortunately, it takes you in the wrong direction. What we need to remember is our role models need to have certain characteristics for them to be a role model, for us to look up to them, because that's what a role model is. Here we're talking about who you should look up to. Yeah, okay, you can, for example, be impressed by Michael Jordan, or you could like, for example, maybe the financial skills or the management skills of Elon Musk, for example. Yes, certain qualities, certain characteristics that someone has. Yes, you don't see them as a role model. You don't want to be like them. You don't aspire to be like them. But at the same time, there are certain things that you are able to pick up on. That's fine. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about who you need to be pursuing and following in your life step by step, in every single angle and aspect of your life. That is very, very challenging. That is really, really difficult. Because if you have someone who is really influential and very popular, and someone looks up to them in a really, really nice way, Oprah Winfrey, for example, richest woman in America. I don't know if she still is, but she was, right? And all of her, for example, supposed charity work and giving out cars and building schools in South Africa and whatnot. Can you put her as a role model in every aspect of your life? Here, this is where you, as a religious person, as a Muslim person, need to find out what the boundaries are of who a mentor, who an example who a role model may be. Because, of course, there is a strong relationship between who you have as a role model and your behavior, your conduct, how you present yourself, what kind of approach and outlook and attitude you have, not only as for you as a person, but also for your whole life in general. If you're a miserable person, if you are a positive person, if you're an ambitious person, if you are a careless person, if you are an educated person who's prioritizing education, or if you are someone who just wants to go with the flow, finish what you're doing, and then, become a nobody in your life. Of course, this is why this is going to be the greatest and most important investment that you have, who you set as a role model and as an example for yourself in your life. Hopefully you're all reading these things. I'm not going to read them out, but make sure whatever I put on the board, you are reading. One of the things that we understand, unfortunately, is that a lot of us who live in today's society, we look up to white people more than we look up to anyone else. We want to talk like them, we want to dress like them, we want to behave like them, we want to socialize like them, and we think that in order for you to be successful, look at yourself and the stereotype that you have in your mind. When I say white man, the first thing that comes to your mind, nice guy with a collar, with a tie, a nice suit and things like that. If I say black man, first thing that comes to your mind is basketball, right? Crime, right? Etc., etc. First thing that comes to your mind when I say Arab, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What? Dishdasha, manaish, big stomach, clean or dirty? Depends. Depends. Afghan, opium. I shouldn't be saying these things because we're being broadcasted, but everyone knows I'm racist anyway. This is, of course, something that, we need to work with. That why in our standards that we have, are we being influenced in a wrong or right way? Not saying that blacks are this or whites are that or Arabs are this or no. We're saying that for us, it really needs to be a matter of qualities more than nationality or background or anything else. It needs to be a matter of qualities more than financial status as well, or how influential and how popular and famous the person is. There are many, many, many cases where the person has zero fame, zero likes, zero presence in social media, but he or she would be the greatest example for a role model. And that's why I'm saying that we shouldn't be deceived by likes or by subscribers or by this or by that. And that's why, unfortunately, when you look at these examples here, influence, television, and then movies, and then music is at the top of everything. And how negatively social media is affecting us, and people know that. But people, unfortunately, so many of us are literally addicted to social media and our mobile phones. And who would be a good, effective role model, putting religion aside. I would assume you would say scholars and scientists, but they have the least level of people who consider them to be role models and examples. And the most are TV heroes, even more than family heroes and sports heroes. That's very sad. Yes, we understand that one of the reasons is because maybe even when it comes to families, especially with non-Muslims, they're all over the place. Unfortunately, even now with Muslims, in a lot of cases, they're all over the place. You don't know what's happening with people. Guy comes from a good family, good parents, religious, whatnot. He's way off the track. She's way off the track, unfortunately. And therefore, it all comes down to who you are socializing with, who you are being influenced by, and of course, the damage of social media and mass media and things like that, which is consciously and subconsciously changing our approach, changing our attitude that we have towards life, making us more conscious of things that we shouldn't be conscious of, and less conscious of things that we should be conscious of. I should be conscious of my behavior, of my conduct, of my relationship with God. But now I'm more conscious about if my nose is like this, or if my ears are like that, or if my body is like this, because that's what's going to get me the likes and this and that and this and that, unfortunately. And so therefore, what is the correct approach in how we need to find a role model for ourselves? What do we need to do? Well, birth and family is really, really important. This guy, if he comes from a corrupt family, an evil family, that basis of this person is not good. When we say, Allahumma al'an bani umayyah qatibatan, we say qatibatan, right? Yani because nothing good came out of Bani Umayyah and nothing good will come out from Bani Umayyah. And therefore, you might have one exemption or two exemptions. Maybe, for example, Muawiyah, the son of Yazid, he was an okay fella, right? But in general, unfortunately, what a person, of course, clearly needs to do is have a look at the characteristics of these individuals. You look at Imam Ali. Why do the Sunnis say Imam Ali, karramallahu wajhah? May God dignify his face. The reason is, and they don't say this to anyone else, the reason is, as the narration says, Lam yasjud li sanamin qat. Imam Ali alayhi salam had never prostrated to any idol. He only prostrated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the same cannot be said about anyone else as far as the khulafa are concerned. They were idol worshippers, they were drunkards, they were fornicators, and all these other things, unfortunately. You're going to take them as a role model, as an example. Big commotion happening now in the Middle East about the cursed Muawiyah, and Arab television channels making a series on Muawiyah, portraying him as some noble, very, very good guy. And this is a really good thing for us. It's a good thing. People are going to say, wow, we didn't know that Muawiyah was that good. We didn't know that Muawiyah was that good. Let me start reading about Muawiyah. And then they go to their books, the Sunni books. We're not talking about Shia books. They go to the Sunni books and they start reading about Muawiyah. And then all the ufuniyah, all the filth starts coming out from their own books. And then they say, hey, wait a second. That's why the Shia are making a commotion about this and saying this is a lie and Muawiyah is this and Muawiyah is that. Because that's certainly not the case. And it's in our books. So we cannot in any way look up to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. And remember, my brothers and sisters, that anywhere that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have been put as an example, anywhere that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi mentioned something good in favor of Ahlul Bayt, Bani Umayyah wanted to say something equal in reference to them. Wanted to say something equal so that there's that kind of balance. Okay, yeah, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, Sayyiday Shababi Ahl al-Jannah, but we've also got these guys and they are the masters of the elders of heaven. Or Ali is the door to the city of knowledge, but we've also got someone who's the hayat of the city of knowledge, the wall of the city of knowledge. Right? So anywhere that someone wanted to say something in reference to Ahlul Bayt, we had someone else. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to keep the message of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam alive. And alhamdulillah, we can see this now with you, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, and your admiration and your love to Ahlul Bayt. You can't see that anywhere else. You can't see that among the Sunnis. So we're not doing any Sunni bashing. We're just explaining things in a nice way where we understand that the admiration that we have to Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam hasn't gone away, hasn't faded away, and won't fade away. Because this is what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi has taught us. That look at noble qualities, look at their level of trust, look at if they are fair and just. Look at how could you say someone is fair and just if they, for example, stole fadak from a Sayyida al-Zahra alayha salam. How could they be just? Or leadership skills. Leadership skills. In these big battles that the Holy Prophet had, where was everyone else? Where was Tom, Dick and Harry? Where were they? We only hear about Imam Ali doing this and Imam Ali doing that and Imam Ali doing this. You are obviously going to look up to Imam Ali as an example for bravery and courage and selflessness and sacrifice. Right? So therefore, when you want to use an example and when you want to make that comparison, it's really important for you to, again, not be deceived by all these flashy, famous people that we have. Maybe not even, maybe Muslim even. Maybe you might know some Muslim guy, Muslim woman, very famous, very flashy influencer, right? But when it comes to their integrity, when it comes to their moral conduct, when it comes to their behavior, when it comes to who they are, no, they don't meet the basic standards, the required standards of what we need to look at. Today, when I was preparing this, I was Googling who are the most, influential or role models, or who are used as examples for role models in today's society. There was Malala, there was that Greta, what's her name? Greta, huh? And then we've got Mr. Will Smith, who Akal Rajdi from Minnow, right? I'm not going to say anything about him, again, it's not appropriate, but anyone in their sane mind is not going to take Will Smith as a role model, as an example. For what? For acting? So actors now are your role models for integrity, for piety, for moral conduct, just because he has certain charities here and there. If you were to compare the charity work that these people do in compared to their income, it's a drop in the ocean. And then you look at Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, where 3 times in his life he gave away absolutely everything. Everything. And then we've got Beyonce. I wanted to put Rihanna, but because there's things happening, and that's a small picture, it's like a Shara'i picture as well, so don't worry. Right? Beyonce is one of the best role models a young woman can have. Who agrees? Put your hand up. And Barack Obama, هذا الملعون Barack Obama. He was the one responsible for 1,000,001 things as far as the devastation in this world, whether it be Afghanistan, whether it be Iraq, whether it be Syria, whether it be many, many other places. And all of a sudden, he is, mashallah, a role model and an example. What about us, unfortunately, looking up to those who have gangster life? Brothers till we die, hanging out with each other, having each other's backs, wanting to behave in a nice way, but they're also religious as well, and they want to show that to everyone on earth, even if it means that when they're getting their pictures taken in jail, they also have to take pictures of their gang-related tattoos, because that's going to define who they are. Tattoos today have become so common, unfortunately, that it is in today's society very much accepted. A lot of young boys, especially boys. Ali, slap him again, please. Why not? You don't like violence? Who is it? Mehdi, ta'ali hina. You're telling him to stop. Ibrahim, can you watch them, please? What was I saying? We look up to people, especially youngsters these days. They say, I can't wait until I get a tattoo here and it says only God can judge me. And then get another one here, Imam Ali's sword. Another one here, 313. And on my back, I'm going to get something as well, the Kaaba, right? Come on. Where's that going to get you, really? If you really, a majority of people, they don't meet up to the standards of Dhul Fiqar, unfortunately. I won't say all of them, but I'll say majority of them, unless they repented and, they changed their ways. But tattoos is affiliated to bad behavior, whether we like it or not. You want to break this taboo and you want to break this stereotype, it's not going to happen. For us, it's highly makruh. Oh, it's okay because it's makruh, it doesn't matter. No. Don't think that because something is makruh, it gives you the green light for you to do. And you read about the ahadith that speak about all these tattoos happening here and there. And even when it comes to women with tattoos, oh, let me get that cup of water so she can show her tattoo here. Was that a good acting? It's not right. It's not right. I had to cover her. This is common. You write women, Muslim women tattoo on Google. You see all of these YouTube influencers wearing hijab, right? and she's got her sleeves up, or she's got her neck open so she can show, put on display her. And some people are saying, oh wow, I'd love to get that. What's the point? What's the point? It's very bad. It's unethical. It's unacceptable. It's inappropriate for a mu'min to be covering himself with tattoos. And tattoos are addicting as well. Addictive. Addictive or addicting? Addictive. Right? And that's why our main focus needs to be on our cycle and our habits. What do you get into? What kind of behavior do you get yourself into? Who are you looking up to when it comes to, for example, your behavior, your akhlaq? You say, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, who's rahmatan lil alameen, mercy unto mankind. I'm going to look up to him as far as my behavior. As far as my sacrifice, I'm going to look up to this person. As far as my this, I'm going to look up to this person. As far as my hijab, I'm going to look up to Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, etc., etc. That's the mindset that we need to have. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's very easy. We just need to get our priorities right. And we need to understand that none of these people are going to be helping you when you get older. None of these people are going to be helping you on Judgment Day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be the one and only who is helping you on Judgment Day, and Him alone. Hussein, are you sleeping? Read that out, please. Negative cycles and habits. Smoking. Should be an E there, by the way. Yeah.
Use of alcohol and other substances.
Yeah.
Physical,
Yeah, that's not really related to us. Anyway. Under education, low self-esteem, lack of family values and morals. What about positive ones?
strong positive family values, morals, career and or academic success, proper
Don't worry about that. Yeah. Healthy lifestyle and family time and trips and experience. Sadiq, read that.
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Thank you. And that's why if we think, which is wrong for us to do so, but if we think that, Ahlul Bayt are really, really too difficult for us to get to, they're ma'soomeen and they're this and they're that, and we don't know how they live. What about people in today's society? Look at Al-Imam Khomeini rahimahullah. Until he died, he didn't own a house, he didn't own a car. If you visited his house, it's very, very small. He was very humble, even though he was the supreme leader of a revolution and a country. And he was a marja' taqleed. And you look at Sayyid al-Sistani, Al-Imam al-Sistani, and how simple he is, where he lives, the lifestyle that he has, how humble he is. Does he have access to tens and millions of dollars? Yeah. He has access to the Muslim treasury, but you don't see him in flashy cars or gold ornaments or this or that. You don't see that in this. This is an example. And that's why for us, we need to have ambition that we become the best and we ourselves become examples and role models for other people. Musa. And that's what this ayah says. وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ. One day, inshallah, we'll speak about this beautiful ayah. But this is what I want to say. Here it doesn't say, you're not saying in your dua, you're not saying, make me among the righteous. No. You're saying, I want to be a leader for the righteous. You're not saying, I want to be among the muttaqeen. You say, I want to be a leader for the muttaqeen. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. That's the ambition that you need to have, that you need to set your goals as high as possible so you are able to really be that wonderful example and role model for others as well. But of course, this comes with a lot of effort, a lot of work you need to do, staying on the right path, not being influenced by those negative people around you, minimizing your involvement in this dunya, and all the other requirements that we have, which is these simple things. You have self-respect, that you care and you have consideration for others. Look here at the musalla. When we finish our refreshments, how many people clean up after us? Maybe 1 people, 2 people. The rest run away or sit back and do absolutely nothing. Most cases, unless you get a risala. Who are you pointing to? Who is it, Kahi? Yeah. Rida Mayahi always runs away. What about you, mashallah alaik? You're always there. Consideration, patience, bravery, generosity, being generous. Sha'ban is the month of khair. It's very mustahab to pay sadaqah in the holy month of Sha'ban. Pay sadaqah. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars in sadaqah. No, $1, 50 cents, $10. What's sadaqah, Sadiq? Good boy, mashallah alaik. Very good answer. Salam Farmande, what's sadaqah? Thank you so much. Is that what you were going to say, Maliki? Good. And so your role model is in your physical life, in your dunyawi life, and also in your ilmi life, in the way you think, your thought process, and of course in your moral and spiritual life as well. They need to be a combination of all of these things, which is why you need to make sure that you motivate yourself and others, you monitor yourself and others, and you maintain, you're consistent with yourself and also with others as well. Who's the best example and role model? Of course, no one better than Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. That's what the ayah says. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, لَا يُقَاسُ بِنَا أَحَدٌ. No one is similar to us. No one is similar to us. So why are you going to go to your neighbor and pick some fruit if you can go to Flemington Market and get them for free? Is that a good example or bad example? Was it good, Ali? Or no, it was bad. Bad example. What's a good example? Why would you leave Imam Ali and go to someone else? Who can give me an example, a nice example? Teach me. Yeah. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. Tricky. Right? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says this beautiful hadith. امتحنوا شيعتنا عند مواقيت الصلاة. Test our Shia at time of salah, at time of prayer. When it's prayer time, do you get up straight away without delay and go and pray? Or do you slack behind and take your time and finish off this and finish off that. This is where you're tested. Imam Sadiq says, test our Shia عند مواقيت الصلاة وكيف محافظتهم عليها. How much you are preserving and respecting the times of Salah. Number one. وإلى أسرارنا, and our secrets. How much you protect our secrets. وَإِلَىٰ أَمْوَالِهِمْ, how are you spending your money? How are you spending your money? Are you giving the due haqq to God? The zakat, your khums, your sadaqah. If you've taken something from someone, have you given it back? كيف مواساتهم لإخوانهم فيها, how you are using this money that you have to help and assist others. And therefore, when someone comes to you and says, let's look at Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam and use these as our examples. Use Imam Hussein as my role model. Use Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas as my role model. Use Imam as-Sajjad as my role model. والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. Okay, now we have a